So I'm here to come to sell them again. 9.5 straight night, 20 straight night, even straight here. Now, guys.
What is going on, traders? It's been a little while since I've last made a video, and somebody was asking me some questions about the control bar. So I'm going to make a video about the control bar and how I've set up my depth of market and utilize control bars to save, or customizing control bars to save space. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm going to start from right to left on this control bar, and this button is just an exit button, right? Saves me a little bit of time from, hitting I don't know, file or just exit, or clicking the screen up here, and so the way I have this DOM set up, first of all, is this is my main instance of Sierra chart, right? This whole screen, and all my charts that I chart off of are sub-instances. So I have actually two other sub-instances that I run at the same time. And this DOM I run separately, and that's for performance. Essentially, when I run just the DOMs on their own instance, they're very crisp and very reactive without any lag or delay or anything like that. And so, I want to be able to execute off of these screens with sort of custom buttons and order types for each DOM, and to just, I want to be able to sort of select them real quickly and know sort of what they are for this, and as well as the quantities, attaching bracket, cancel, all flatten, buy market, sell market, break even, etc. And so that's the way I have this depth of market set up, which is its own instance, and these are all detached. You can see here. So here's like my chart space, chart book space, you might call it. These are all detached so that I can actually add the control bar too, for example. And this one's control, basically to be able to add these separate control bars. Like this is its own control bar here, 8, right? So this is control bar 8 as well. This is control bar 7. Let's see, 3.5, 1.5, yeah. This one is control bar 5. This one is control bar 6. Okay, so like this one for the euro. I don't actually even have it set up yet for all of the buttons. It's kind of just copied from this one. But anyway, that's kind of what you're seeing here. Is you're seeing these windows individually removed and then resized, and then you have time and sales for each one right next to each depth of market. So anyway, let's go from right to left on these buttons. These are this unlinks a chart that is attached to the chart book. So when you're doing replays, you want to be able to quickly, if something is linked, but let's say you want like 2 chart books, or 2 charts within a chart book, and normally like 6 or 7 charts are linked. Let's say you have a footprint, a daily, 5-minute, 15-minute, 30-minute, TPO chart, something like that. And they're all typically linked up together, but you do want to have them in replay. One way to quickly do that is click on each chart, and then hit chart no link, and then it'll unlink it. So the way to customize this, I'm assuming you guys know how to add a control bar. If you don't, it's Windows, and then control bar, and then select you want, and then it'll be added, and it'll ask you top, left, bottom, right. Anyway, to modify the control bar, just right click it, hit control bar, and then so what this is this chart linking. So if you look at chart linking, you'll find chart link 0, so or no link essentially, right? So, and then set up some ones that are like maybe you have link 1 and then link 2, right? And that's for just like linking various charts within a chart book, right? So maybe you want to have link 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. Anyway, I used to only use link 1 and link 5, right? That was kind of my jam. This one is symbol settings. It's for global settings, symbol settings, right? It's a shortcut to that. This one is your manage chart drawings, and that's just a tool, a shortcut to manage your chart drawings. I don't know exactly where it is. Maybe it's in here somewhere. I don't even know, right? But let's see. Anyway, these things can be hard to find. Let's custom study for manage chart drawings. I guess it's in file, maybe. That's what it looks like. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see if it highlights. No, it does not highlight. Anyway, I think it might be in tools. I think it's in tools, right? And it's like the manage. I've already added it, so here it is, but I think it's in tools. So, and then this one is, and basically what that does is, let's say you have a bunch of charts within a chart book that are, say, intraday charts, but you mark up your charts every day and then you just forget to delete stuff. If you're loading 10 or 15 or 20 days of intraday, if you're loading 10 or 20 days on intraday charts, you may want to delete a bunch of those because they may be affecting performance if they've got all kinds of rays and different things in the chart. Okay, so this is a place to be able to go multiple selection, select a bunch, or select all, and then deselect the ones you don't want, and just delete them, right? You'll get a delete button here or something if you've actually got some selected. So, that's a nice thing to have up here, right here. And then this is the global cursor on, and that has to do with if you have linked chart books and the global and the cursors, let's say there's a big, like the global cursor goes like this. Basically, what would happen is if you move on one chart, it'll move the global cursor, which is all, the big cross lines that go across the whole chart. It'll move it on all of them. So like, if let's say you're on a 1 minute chart and you move it, it would move on the 15-minute chart to the same spot, right? So that's what that is. And it's not something I really use anymore, but it is useful if you've got a bunch of different time frame charts that you're looking at the same time. And I'm not organizing my chart books that way anymore. The next one here is the lock fill space. And the lock fill space, let's say you're in a chart, and within a chart book, right? I'm going to draw this. Let's say this is a chart within a chart book, right? And you have your study down here, and you have your price, whatever. And the space to the right here, right? This space, whatever you set it as, if you want this space to always be locked as a place that the price or the bars can never move over, you would have your lock fill space on, set to a X percentage of the screen, and that's in your chart settings. Okay, so what that does, it just turns it on or it turns it off, and it is useful. You can play with it and you'll see why it's useful when you scroll over in your charts. Okay, so that's a kind of a useful button there. This button here is RTH, ETH, and essentially, and you could look for it, you'll find it. This one here, where would it be? I think it's going to take me too long if I kind of try to find where they are, but I think this one would be in Chart General. Yeah, could be wrong, but I believe so. I think it would be in here. Anyway, and basically, whenever you go into a chart and you go into its settings, this RTH ETH button, which again it's standard in the control bar menu, is just going to turn off this setting. Use evening session, right? So if you had like a funky setting for the evening, or let's say you want to quickly change your chart from showing the regular trading hours to showing Globex as well for futures, then you would just click that button. So it's nice, useful to add. These are all just time. So max window would be, let's say you're in this and you maximize it, it would just maximize this across the whole window, right? And so the way I have this worked out right here is, you see this as I'm pulling it down, this is the chart book, I guess, empty chart space that normally if you attach these DOMs, they would fill up this space. And then you could do things like, window, you could tile them vertically or horizontally. It would automatically make all the DOMs that are attached equal size, and organize them by, if you want them in a grid or whatever. I have all of these DOM charts detached so that I can add the control bar, because otherwise you're not going to be able to add the control bar to an attached DOM. Okay, so that is important to note if you did want to kind of do this style and kind of what I'm showing you guys here. So going back to this is like, it's a useful button because let's say these were attached in the DOM, but you normally within the DOM you have, this is the time and sales automatic. I accidentally grabbed it. So let's say you have this set up to where all of your charts are like let's see, in a grid or something like this, right? And Sierra chart just makes them all equal size. If you hit this maximize button here, or maximize window, this screen here would just expand to the whole screen. And then if you add a restore window button, it'll remember and go back to sort of this organized state. So this can be useful if you really want to like zoom in and kind of take a look at the charts a little bit more granularly on like a bigger screen. So the button is useful, and all my sub instances have that, and I make use of it every day, so it is helpful. So that's what this is. This is a trading locked. So essentially, and what it looks like in here is this trading locked. It's this button. So when you add something, by the way, let's just say it's probably going to be something like this, and it's in here somewhere. But let's say you're adding something, you add it, and it's in here. One thing you want to do is you want to be able to come down here to Properties, select it, and adjust this. So the caption is what is actually on the button. This is when you hover over the button, what comes up. All right. So you want to be able to adjust, say, the font size or whatever, but in some cases you want to use your own button. So one of the cool things about Sierra Chart is that you can customize your buttons up here. All right, you see this is a custom button. So what you do is, you go into Bitmap, you create your buttons, and what you do, go into some of the default buttons within Sierra Chart, open them up in another program file. They're located at C or whatever drive you have, Sierra Chart graphics buttons folder, and then you have all of these. Open some of them up and see how big they are. What's the default size, right? You can maybe Google or search Sierra Chart's support board, and I'm sure they tell you what that default size is. But a quick way is to just go open these up, see what the sizes are, right? Right-click on the actual bitmap once you have it open in some kind of editor, and see what the properties are. What's the size? Okay, because you have to, I think, use the same size for your buttons that Sierra Chart has set up. I might be wrong on that. Maybe they do automatically resize, but I would assume that you have to use the same size. So anyway, something to note, and play around with it. Maybe try something bigger. If it doesn't work, well, there you know. Or when you do search on Sierra Chart's support board, you'll find out that way. So anyway, save it in here as some sort of name. Probably follow the same numbering nomenclature. I think I tried saving buttons outside of a certain range and it wouldn't recognize them. I could be wrong on that. It's something from early last year that I did a lot of these custom buttons. So anyway, set image, and you can do your own button like this, which make it look nice, right? Like this, see the background is different. I want to be able to quickly look. If you have too many buttons, maybe you can kind of scroll over and kind of miss them, right? So sim, I like it to be kind of yellow, dark yellow. Right now it's selected. We're in sim here. And so it's not dark yellow because the highlighting is actually light gray, so it makes it look like a vomit looking yellow. Anyway, so that's another thing. Alert manager, right? If you like to set alerts, this is a set up or add this button so that you can look at all your alerts in the platform, right? So add the alert manager button. Also add symbol alert, right? Let's say you click on this chart and you want to add an alert for a certain price. So click on the chart. As long as you have this added, right? We can customize it. We can show you what it looks like as a default for the selection. I don't think I actually changed it. Add symbol alert. There it is, right? So that's what it'll look like. And that, I'm not exactly sure. Maybe it's in tools or something like that. You'll have to kind of go through on some of these commands and just search for them, right? Like, hey, that's why I'm watching. You know what? I set a lot of these up over a year ago now, so bite me. Anyway, so symbol alert, right? Select the chart, symbol alert, boom, and then look. If you want to say the price is crossing or whatever, this, and then do you want it to pop up, right? You can set an alert on a trend line if you want. But having this alert manager can allow you to see all the alerts you've set, right? Are you on your game or are you slipping? You're not setting alerts because those are important for trading. So attach a trade window too. So if you have, say, a chart with a TPO and you want to trade off your TPO, all you got to do is, if you have this button added, attach trade window, boom, look at that. So I selected the DOM and I attached a trade window. Look. Can you see now why I don't have a trade window on this DOM? Right? Everything's all compressed here, but I wouldn't be able to fit all of those trade windows. So what am I doing in the control bars that I've set up here? I'm approximating a trade window. Check it out. And what's cool is when you set the defaults for the numbers, as soon as you add these quantities up there, they're going to match whatever is saved for the configuration that you have selected. It's going to add the quantity down here in the description up here. See how it matches? 1, 2, 4, 8, 12, 16. Look at that. 1, 2, 4, 8, 12, 16. It's automatically matching us. It's doing that for each of these. So here's NQMNQ. 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Right? So if I click on this and then I attach a trade window, look at that. 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Right? You see how in the parentheses it automatically matches? That's pretty cool. I'll show you how to add these buttons in a little bit. So anyway, we can detach it by hitting the same button. There it is. We can X out of it. Do this one now. Click on it. Attach trade window. Now it detaches. X out of it. Right? So that trade window is still controlling this chart. And so to create some of these buttons, you're going to have to have a trade window open, but we'll get to that. All right, so that's what that's for. The DOM on or off. This is good if you have a chart and you want the depth of market overlaid on your chart itself because you want to trade right from the chart. Okay, so that button and the way it looks like, let's see, it's close to sim and replay chart. So as I scroll through here, replay chart, there you go. It's trading chart DOM on or off. Okay, and that would probably be in trade. Okay, so probably here. Yeah, open trade window, trade DOM, graph on chart, right? It's all in here, somewhere down here. So that's what that is. Trade mode on or off, right? Maybe you want to well, if you have DOM on or off, it's automatically going to turn trade mode on. Okay. So you can turn these off and then only show your orders. So your orders will show up on the actual, let's say this is a chart. Your orders themselves will show up, but they won't be selectable, right? So I don't know, maybe you want to share a screenshot of, hey, I'm going long whatever from here, and in your chart, it's got your daily P&L, and you don't want to share with everybody that, hey, I'm down 10 grand today, I want to give the impression that I'm a profitable trader. Well, that's how you do that. This one, show fills. Okay, so essentially this one is for showing order fills on a chart, right? Let's say you want to journal every day and you want to like copy your actual charts that have your trades. This is one way to do it, right? Replay chart. You see how I have it like this darker teal color? I use it a lot. So, what I do, again, going into this is, you add it as a shortcut. Where is it? I'm so slow. Replay chart. Go into properties. Change the color, right? Something dark. If your foreground text is white, well, do something dark so that, but at least quickly, hey, I know that dark teal is the replay chart because I use it often or whatever. Same, this is for simulation on or off. So I also like to draw volume profiles on my chart, and then I like to erase them as well. Okay, so you got to have a button for drawing them, which if you select this, basically what it would do is, let's say you had a chart like this and you had candles, right? And obviously there's volume, there's like oftentimes let's change the color. Right, this has got like a volume profile associated with it, like maybe the volume profile is like this for like the whole session, right? What this tool allows you to do, this one here, the draw VBP, is it allows you to go on a chart, select some from here, drag out, say this way, and it'll select everything and give you a volume profile for just the thing that you select. How cool is that? It is very cool. So what you can do on that is you can set up a whole bunch of tricks to do that. I think I have another video where I kind of outlined that, so I won't go into that too much. But again, you want to, because it's a draw volume by price study, you have to kind of know how this works, right? Okay, so this is what it is. Let's go back up here. It's beyond what? TC1, TC2, TC3, TC4. So it's the volume profile tool, right? It's the draw VBP as I call it, but I think it's going to be volume profile tool. And then when you're looking for it, look for this, because me, I create my own caption essentially. Right, so this is how I like it, draw VBP, but this is what they call it. Okay, so maybe look for that. And I like to, let's see, I think I set it as use image. Well, there is no default, I think, image for that, so it doesn't use it, right? It uses the caption, which is this, right? So the way this works is if you come over here and you configure the button, you notice how the TC, there's TC1, TC2, TC3, TC4, etc., all these things. When you're in a chart and you save a study collection, it will be selectable for this drop down. You see how it's delta volume by price for draw VBP? So when I save that study, let's say you have like a volume profile that looks at only delta, save that as a study collection and then say for draw volume by price. And then that way, if you have an open chart and you select this and then you save this under TC1, you save another one under TC2, you save another one under TC3, another one under TC4. Essentially for TC1, you're going to go click the drop down, click the study collection, name it, save it, right? And so you do that for each one of these, TC1, TC2, TC3, TC4. And the way that works is you go to your draw volume by price little tool that we've added, and then secondarily, as part of the process, you select, look, TC1, then you select TC2, right? See how as you hover over it, gives you the long description, right? See this? So if you save each of those, it saves each of these tool configuration buttons. It saves it to the thing that you're selected on. So you right click on here, configure button, and then you go in here and then you boom, you hit save. Now this is all from an old build, and again, this is for my DOM, so none of this, the only things that I have in it is just like really hardly any study collections for this DOM. So I can't show you guys here from this screen all the steps, but I've explained it well so you guys can do it yourselves. This is a risk reward tool. What I like about this tool is you can do the same thing. You can configure the button for TC1, TC2, TC3, TC4. So what I've done is I've configured it for what? Line 1, line 2, they're dots and they're green. So this is my long configuration. TC2 is my short configuration. Like, what are you talking about, Mike? Well, here's what I'm talking about. So click on the risk reward button. I've only got 2 saved because it's long or short. So TC1 is my long. See that? TC2 is my short. So here's TC1. So we'll do it on this drawable space here on the left, or we'll do it on the center one. So, oh, let's see. Yeah, it starts all the way from left. So here's my stop. Here's my entry. Here's my take profit. Notice the line is green, indicating to me it's a long setup. It also gives me, you can't see it here, maybe we can, nope, let's see, nope, that drawable space is going to prevent me from showing the information about that setup. So it's kind of like in TradingView, if you're familiar with TradingView, how you have like your long short setup and then it kind of gives you the risk reward and all of that. You can configure each one of these for that. Okay, let's see if we can select it and delete it. Okay, cool. And then for the short side on this risk reward tool, do the same thing. Here's your short, entry, take profit, right? You see how that works? So on this one, by the way, it is obviously, these have lines, the other doesn't. You can configure each one. Okay, so like TC1, so TC2, so TC1 has a point, TC2 has a horizontal, what is it, segment. So you can change that for TC1 too. So go into TC1, we could change it to horizontal segment. I like that better anyway. I thought I had saved this. Maybe there's a problem with Sierra chart saving it. I don't know. Sometimes they do. Okay, apply it. So now if we do the long one, it should look the same. Yeah, risk reward TC1. So now look. See how it's you can see up here. I mean, it's going over the top of the short setup type, but now you can see, you know, entry, take profit, stop. Maybe a little easier to see on a chart. I don't know. Let's see, Control Z. Will that delete stuff? No, it won't. Okay, whatever. Delete. Okay, so there's that, which is an extraordinarily useful. It's the reward risk tool. Let's see. Kind of helping you guys. It's below. I'm trying to help you guys locate them by finding them. Yeah, reward risk tool, RR, I think. Yeah, so I don't think that I changed this description, so it would be probably in tools is what I think. Okay, so very likely in tools. So there's that one. There's the chart calculator tool, which you could select a point on the chart and another point. It'll give you all kinds of information, and again, you can configure that let's see, chart calculation tool, right? See how it's going to give you the option to select TC1, TC. So, you know, configure this button, right? And then the labels, you can choose what this chart calculator configuration tool shows you, right? So I've selected I want it to show me all these different things for TC1. Let's see, is TC2 different? No, just gives you a different line. So TC4 teal. Okay, so you can configure each of these tool configuration buttons. And now let's see, this here is the tool values window, and essentially if you hover over a candle or a chart, it's going to give you the values for that. So this will give you all the chart values, right? You see that? And you can decide what you want to put into this. So anyway, there's your chart values, and then you want to be able to add tool configuration, which would be probably oh, that's a whole nother thing. Is it trade window to configurations? Let's see, trade window menu. No, it's not going to be there. Half the problem is trying to find this trade window configuration. Trade window configuration. No, this is tool configuration. That's different. Window. Let's see. Well, hunt for it, and if you have less than 3 or 4, let's say you have like 3 or 2, add TC3 and TC4. If they're not already there, they may be already default in there. I'm not sure. So add those so that these can be used to customize some of these ones that have multiple options for the buttons. Okay, this is undo draw, right? So let's just undo your chart drawing, like the last one you did. I find that is good. This, if you let's say draw a bunch of things, this puts you in erase drawing mode. So if you click it, it'll select everything on your chart, and every time you click on anything that's selected, it'll get deleted. Okay, so that's if you want to like delete certain things, maybe not that are out of order from undo draw, right? There you go. If you want to add text to your chart, there you go, right? So that's cool. So TC1, TC2, TC3, TC4 are all configured for that text button. See that? So text stays highlighted. Now TC1 is highlighted, right? TC3, TC4. So let's go configure here's text. Configure the button, right click on it, and then now look at the tool configs. Like you see down here, the config number, TC1 white. So yeah, there's a bunch of TCs that you can add up here to the control bar, right? Up to 24 of them. That's a lot. Anyway, I have white, red, green, and teal, right? So when I'm on TC1, that's what the text is going to be like with the options, right? And because it's white. When I'm on TC2, it's going to be red. When I'm on TC3, it's going to be green. So, you know, what do I do for these TC buttons, right? I go in and, you know, we go to control bar 4, we find the TC buttons, and what do? We go to properties and we change the color, right? So that way we know essentially if these tool configuration bars are going to be used mainly for coloring lines and text and different things, different colors. Yeah, do the colors that you like to use in your chart, right? And change each one of these. So, right, just go to the properties. See that? That's all that it is. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay, now we go to price zones, and someone had a question about this, right? And we're using the extending rectangle tool. So if we select this, watch, it's gonna give us options for configuring them to these tool configurations, right? So this is one of those configurable buttons when you add it. Okay, so price, let's go into it. We'll customize control bar, and it is after my fib tool here. So let's find, where's that fib? Retracement tool. So this is the extending rectangle tool. It's probably in tools. I'm almost positive it would be in tools. So it's the extending rectangle tool. Right? We go in, what do? We change the caption, because I like to call it price zone. So price, again, \n zone. So price on top. Add the backslash with the n, boom, creates a second line, and then call it what? Zones. Okay. So anyway, look for this extending rectangle whatever tool. We're using the caption. I make it slightly smaller than everything else because I don't want this button to blow out and get bigger, right? I want everything to essentially fit up here. So, you may have to make your font smaller to make everything fit. So anyway, add that, the extending rectangle tool. Now, go in, configure the button, and how do we make it extend out, right? So we show the labels on the right. We show price labels. Let's see. You can copy all of this, right? So the outline is all this. The width is 0 instead of 1, so it has no outline. And that's what gives it sort of the the borderless look. The fill color is like the color you want it. Again, this is for TC1. It's white. So that's neutral for me. TC2, red, right? So that's resistance for me. TC3, green. That's support for me. So like no vertical outline, right? And then let's see, what else is yeah, so the extending rectangle configuration tool, that's what you use. So TC4 is yellow, and I like yellow for stops. Okay, that's just my thing. If I put yellow up there, that means it's likely it's going to come back there, and those either were stops on the chart or expect that level to break as steps. That's just my own coloring way of organizing things. Anyway, so set this up like this, and basically what it's going to be is like that. Look, haha, it'll extend right based on wherever you start. So whenever you select the zone, little tip here. So let's say you select it here. When you drag it down, and let's say if the zone goes to here, make sure if you want it to extend right, that you start from here, and you end behind it to this side on the right. So give you an example. If you wanted to extend left, watch this. Let's see, that's still on. Let's go TC1. Oh. Well, it's not going to give you a good example. Okay. Anyway, that's the price zone tool. It's pretty cool. Let's see if I can use it up here on another chart real quick. TC1. Yeah. TC. Yeah. So what I was trying to point out here is if you go and you select this is your starting point on a chart. It's a little funky because this DOM it's going to start everything out on the left here. If you start here and then you select this way, it's going to extend it right. If you start, say, here and go this way, it's going to extend it left, right? Or if you start here and extend down this way, it's going to create the zone going left. So anyway, that's how you have a zone that starts at a certain point. And just set it up the way I did, and it'll work perfectly. So that is all you do. Hey, I should have used my erase all drawing, erase all or whatever thing, right? Okay, so where are we at here? Price zones. This is your Fibonacci retracement tool. So they call it just a retracement tool. And when you select it, again, it has its own corresponding tool configuration one that it remembers in conjunction with this. So if you want to right click it, configure button, right. So TC1 is all white, and I'm selecting these fibs to be used. TC2, again, goes with the color. They're all red. TC3, green. All right. This next one, yellow or teal. I've been messing around with that. Okay, it's actually yellow. So anyway, that is how you do it. And then you just, for each one, you go in, you save it. That's it. All right. TC1, you set it the way you want. You put a configuration name. You call it whatever, fib, if you want. It doesn't matter. It's going to save it. You don't have to put a name. Fib white. Okay, there you go. So we're on TC1. It's fib white. Right? So to see how this one has no name, all right, this is fib red. Okay, save it. Now when you go back, look, hey, fib white's there. Now when you go back, oh, fib red, that's saved to this. So like this, okay, fib green, right? However you want to do that, it doesn't matter. So anyway, now the fib tool will be red because again, we're selected on fibs. Okay, same thing with this ellipse tool, right? Save, configure each one. Same thing with the rectangle tool. Same thing with the horizontal ray tool. This is useful because maybe you want to mark something out from a specific point on the chart to the right. So all you got to do is select this, select the color you want after you configure it, right? You got to configure each one of these buttons with these TC 1 through whatever, right? And each one saves to this button. So you can it's not like this you have to have like 15 different tool configuration and each one has to be saved to a specific button. No, it'll remember each one for each thing. They don't overwrite the other buttons. So like you see that? So this ray tool is giving me the price for specifically here on the chart. Okay, so that's all that is. That's very useful for levels breaking or whatever. And then you can also set alerts on these, right? You right click and alerts, right? You want to save an alert on it? Boom. That's how you do it. You set an alert. Look. Enable alert for chart drawing. There it is. Right? Now it's on this. So that is how you do that. Wow, still a lot left to talk about, but hopefully it's going to be useful for some of the newer people. This is a trendline tool. Okay, so that's what you would add for doing diagonal trend lines or flat trend line, however. But this is your trendline tool. Different colors, again, configure each one. This is global cursor or chart values tool. It's kind of your global cursor type thing, right, where you have the cross. So this doesn't have any TC ones. You can see it's all grayed out. See, when it's selectable, see how it turns white? See that? And then you come over here, is it selectable anymore? No. It's just a hand tool, right? And all this does, when you select it, you can drag like it grips the chart and moves it up, down, any direction you want. Is that useful? Sure. This is a chart zoom in tool. And right, is it going to gray out all the TC, all the tool configuration buttons? Yes. Okay, so this, let's say you want to look at a specific area on your chart, grab it, move it around, but then you want to zoom into a specific area, boom. Go ahead and zoom in, right? And then what this is this cancel zoom. Cancel current zoom. So if you're all zoomed in, you're like, I don't want to have to use the chart scales, have this button. Just click on the button and the chart will expand back out to however you had it before. This is for a new instance of Sierra chart, right? So if you go into File and then New Instance, that's how you get a new sub-instance of Sierra chart, say to run all your charts on because you want better performance or whatever. This is a reset scale all charts. Why do I have this here? Because let's say the DOMs are all here like this and they're all moving up and you've got your DOMs set to the bid and ask move but price does not move, because you want to be able to click exactly on a price without this thing boom resetting to the upside. So this is how Trading Technologies is default set out of box, and it's good for DOM traders. Okay, if you go in here and you hit center DOM, it's going to just reset all these. Boom, they're all matching up now. Why is that useful? Because if you're looking at DOMs and you're a heavy DOM trader, you like to look at DOMs like I do. If the NQ is moving up but the ES is moving down, this recentering line, which is what this is, it's going to tell me that, hey, this is moving up and this is moving down, right? Like this. Like this is the recenter line. Let's say price is moving this way, but the NQ relative to the last recentering, right? Based on this center DOM thing. The NQ maybe has moved up, so it's going the opposite direction. And maybe over here, oil's going another direction. Right, here we have gold. Maybe gold is moving inversely to equities. Equities are moving down. Oh, gold is rallying, right? So we're in that classic sort of risk off. People are fleeing to gold, right? Does that tell you something about the market? A little bit, right? But it also just allows for more accurate clicking on the DOM, because then you don't get these rapid recenterings. So another thing that trading technology uses is they utilize the whole, if you hit your spacebar, everything recenters. So I'll do that right now. I just hit my spacebar, everything recentered. I think that's incredibly cool. So you can actually go in to your global settings and go to keyboard shortcuts. And again, what is this called? I can't remember. Reset scale all charts. So it's probably in chart. Okay, so let's go back to global settings, customize keyboard shortcuts. It's probably in chart. Let's see, reset. Really think it's here somewhere. Scale. So it's under, let's see, probably under reset scales all charts. And there it is, spacebar, right? So you go select this from your drop down, hit assign, and then boom, now my spacebar, if I'm focused or clicked in on this screen, because again, these are all the charts attached to this chart book, which is why I have my DOMs like that. Now I can use the spacebar as long as I'm even clicked anywhere on this chart book. If I hit spacebar, boom, it's going to recenter all these DOMs for me. So that's nice. But I'll also put a button up there in case I wanted to do it that way. So I'll probably remove it. It's kind of redundant to what I already have, but I built it early and just never took it off. Okay, so those are all my control bar buttons. Now let's go into these DOMs. Now this is the cool part about using control bars. So these DOMs have to be detached from your chart book. So let's say, here's my chart book space here. The DOMs are all in here. You're not going to be able to add control bars for each DOM, so they have to be detached, right? And so what you got to do, detach them all, right? I scroll this up. Oh. Right, so you're going to have to mess with these a little bit, but again, it's a one-time setup type thing, right? You get it set up right, and then you're done. So detach these DOMs, and then go in here, right, and go to Window, and add a control bar. Right? So this one has control bar 2 and control bar 6. This happens to be control bar 2. Control bar 2 is added to each one of these DOMs. Okay? And if we customize it, what we do is we come over here to Trade Window Menu, and you add your order quantity buttons. Why are they not listed here? Because they're all in here already. So I changed for each one of these the caption, the name, but what it does is it adds in parentheses what the quantity is for each saved configuration for the trade window. So okay, let's go add. Let's go and let's make this bigger so that this makes more sense. Let's add a trade window. Okay. Let's expand this out a bit. There you go. Is that big enough? All right, let's just move it to the center of the screen for the purposes of this video. God, I hate moving these around because I already spent so much time getting them in the right spot, but that's okay. Okay, so now we have this trade configuration window, right? And notice here we have all these buttons. Okay, so If you want to set those button quantities, go to Set tab, change the quantities that you want, right? And then for this same, so for the save configuration, you know, this is a 5-point take profit with a 3-point stop loss. So my target is what? 5 points. 5 times, it's 4 ES. So it's 5 points times 4 ticks, right? Because there's 4 ticks per point. So 5 times 4 is 20 ticks equals 5 points. My stop is 3 points. Okay, so what I do is you come up to here, make sure, okay, is it using attached orders? Yes. Here's the attached orders. Okay. For this configuration, I want these buttons to be this. And then you come in here, and so for each order type, and for each, in my case, for each futures contract that I'm trading, so if I'm doing this for ES, I'm calling it ES 5-point take profit, 3-point stop loss. And so I'm doing it only for ES. And the reason I have to do this is because I aggregate NQ differently. You notice here, I'll show you. You notice NQ is only showing every point, and then it's going to aggregate volume at each tick. Well, since this is tick based, but this is aggregating, this saved order types looks at the DOM here in this aggregated state as a tick, right? And so the point value will never add or match up if I use, say, if I call this, because I like to call it by the point, 5 points and 3-point stop loss, right? Unless this is 1-to-1 in the conversion. So that's why I save it as ES 5-point take profit, 3-point stop loss. Anyway, so you come in here, you set all that for each thing, okay? And then you come over here to the M, and you hit Save Configuration, and you see that? You call it the thing you want, leaving TW config on the end. You save it in here, and you do that for all your order types for each contract that you want to do it, if you're doing it the same way as me. If it's just no matter what, you don't aggregate the ticks on each DOM, then you can even change your name to something like 20 tick. Right? So you could say something like this: 20 tick take profit, and then you could say like 3 times 4, 12 tick SL, right? But anyway, I'm not doing that. So save that and do that. Save that for all the order types. Go ahead, change your targets, change your quantities to, because if you want to select something else, right? Let's say ES. Do you want the quantities to all of a sudden go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Right? Each time you select a new save configuration? No, you want to change the quantities for each one of those, and that's how you do it. So it's incredibly tedious, but it's allowing you to customize it to a high degree. Okay, so go in, save all of those for every single one. You can see, look how many different ES ones I have. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, right? And so this one has like a trailing stop, and then it's got some action once it moves so many ticks above break even. So 5 points of break even, it turns into a 3-point trail stop limit. Trail stop loss. So it's got some multiple action on it. And I'm not trying to go into order types. I'm trying to show you guys how to set up selecting these from your configuration, trade configure, toolbar configuration button, whatever that's called. Jeez. Control bar buttons. Okay, so but you have to save these first. And essentially what you do is you go and you add a separate toolbar configuration here, right? So you call this, say, control bar. It's like whatever, control bar 6, I think is what this one is. Let's see, right click, it's control bar 6. Okay, so add control bar 6, delete all the crap that's in there. Okay, then down here in your trade window configurations, go ahead and add these. So like say you know, this one's already using 1 through 5, and then it's also using 21 because I added this on the end after adding a bunch of these to the different windows. So go ahead and add these, and then let's see if these are going to be in multiple rows. All right, let's say this is not wide enough, then just hit support multiple rows for control bar. Anyway, I need some water because I am dying here. I'm dying here, and these videos are one-offs, and I'm not going to do any editing. It's just how I roll. I don't have time. Sorry about that. You gotta hear me pounding some water. Okay, so that's better. Trade window configuration. Here, go in to properties, change the caption so that's what it's going to look like. And then for the saved configurations for this trade window associated with this DOM, you go in here and you hit customize. And then you can, for the trade window configuration file name, that's what you save this as. You just hit the drop down and you hit the one that you want, and then you hit OK, and you hit OK, and it's all saved. That's how you do it. Okay, and then you just put them in the order you want, right? And that's partially why when I save those configurations, I save them as ES, right, in front, because you want to be able to know, hey, this is for ES, because you know in ES I don't aggregate any ticks on the DOM, right? But for NQ I do, so I'm aggregating by 4. Why? Because, well, I want to see the movement of NQ relative to the ES. Yes, if you're scalping 3 or 4 ticks, it's not the way for you to go. But on NQ, I do not scalp 3 or 4 ticks. I'm scalping, I think my smallest stop loss on NQ is 8 points, and then I go for 8-point stop loss, 16-point take profit, right? So anyway, so that's how you do it, right? You add all of these, you put them in the right order. So now, essentially, watch this. Watch this area here as I hit these buttons. See that? See how it just changes it? Is that a lot better than just going like, right? Kind of monkeying around with selecting the right one. Look at that. Boom. Changes everything, right? If you have, you see how this one says 4-8. So this is a 4-point profit taker, 8-point profit taker, 3-point stop loss. So if I change this, it's going to automatically select 2. Watch. Why? Because it's got multiple targets, right? One common stop loss. So you can see stop all at what, 3 points, and then 16 and 32, right? 16, all right, multiples of 4, that's 4 points, 32. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 4 ticks, so that's, you know, 8 points, right? Or 32 divided by 8, however you want to say it. 32 ticks divided by 8 points, right? Anyway. Or, yeah, equals 4 ticks. So, hey, different ways to figure that out. Let's see. Hopefully I'm not confusing you guys. So, that's what this does, right? And I do wish that Sierra chart. So when you build this, make sure that these all change, right, instantly like this. So I have a lot of confidence that when I select it, it will be changed. But let's say you don't have a trade configuration window up, right? Or a trade window up. Sorry. Let's see. Let's detach the trade window and X out of it. Now let's go select this one. How do I know that this is selected? It doesn't gray out, right? It doesn't become a lighter color like this. Like, see the quantity? We'll select the quantity. I know I'm on quantity 2. I know I'm on this. I know on attached bracket it's there. But for these, how do I know which one is selected? I don't. So I have to trust that I would like that to gray out upon selection. So let's make sure. Maybe I could. Let's see. Doesn't change it. So anyway, you just have to know that that's working, right? So like this one, 3.2, 2-point stop loss, 3-point profit taker, right? It does work. You have to see that action. I would like it when it's selected to stay that color instead of me holding down on my left click on the mouse, right? It's not doing that, but does it work? Yes. Look, it's changing. So I've messed around with it a lot, but I would like to have confirmation of some sort, right? So this one, there you go, right? See that? Gives you multiple targets. This one basically just turns into a trail stop when it gets about up here. Then it becomes a 3-point trail stop. But no take profits in the system, right? Sometimes we don't want to add to ask side liquidity. We're trading with any kind of size on the E-mini, right? So you go 20 contracts long. Oh, you don't want to add it up here. You want to get out through a trail stop action or something. Anyway, so that's what that is. It does work 100% of the time, I've found, but I would like that confirmation. It's not there. So attach bracket order, right? If I come in here and this is off and I detach it, what is it going to do? Just a single order, right? But if I go in here and attach bracket, boom. So cancel all. This is trade cancel all. This one is trade flatten and cancel. Right, now I get a little pop-up screen because I used that like, hey, you weren't in an open position, but they still canceled everything because the action is get out of your position and cancel order. So I recommend, it depends on what you want to do, but if you want that kind of action, you have to hit in the menu for this button, trade, flatten, and cancel. Again, this is break even, right? So if you're in a position and you hit break even, the stop will, boom, move up to break even, right? So that's a cool button to have, right? And then all your buttons. So anyway, this is a way to save a bunch of space here on the left-hand side of your DOM and not have a trade window. So is that cool? Yeah, I think that is very cool. So let's see here if we get this right. One thing, when you are creating, oh, this is the wrong size. There we go. When you are creating time and sales for each one of these, the time and sales upon startup have a minimum width size that they pop up with each time. So my suggestion, if you don't want to have to resize these things, because then they'll be overlapping each time it opens up, this is the minimum width right here, is make these at least this wide. That's my suggestion here. There you go. So anyway, I think we're all, let's see how I'm taking time to get them back. Okay, I think we're all done. Yeah, went over all of this and how to add stuff. There were people asking me how to essentially add all of these buttons to be able to trade on this from that, this DOM from these configuration buttons. So there it is, right? Very nice. Look at that. Right? So you want to buy at the market? There you go. Right? You want to flatten and get out? There you go. Right? So now we're down. We paid the spread. And and if you want to modify all of this, all you do is you go into your global settings, and then you go into your customize. Let's see, it's customize chart header trade DOM. And if you want this highlighted, when you have it on here, just reverse color, and it'll kind of highlight. So one of the things you can do is if you want to manually trade or change the quantity, you can. On this actual quantity, you can change that just by clicking on it. So the thing that is sort of clickable, if I had multiple sim accounts, I believe I'd be able to select this and drop down for sim 2 or something. Maybe, I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But this is a way to change your quantity, right, to something odd if you want. So there it goes, quantity 11. See that? It's changed. But anyway, we can go back up here and change it right there. See that? With all these buttons. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please share, like, subscribe. It does help. And if there's something you guys want me to make a video about. I'm behind on videos. I have a ton of ideas, like a ton of ideas on just trade setups, risk management, custom indicators and where to find them, and got all kinds of stuff that is in the works. But if there's something that you guys would really like to see, and I see enough requests, then I'll attempt to do a video, and hopefully I could find more time to do YouTube videos, because I do like doing them. They're interesting, and I've actually gone back and had to reference my own YouTube videos, believe it or not, to figure out what the heck I'm doing in Sierra Chart sometimes, because you learn something 8, 9, 10 months ago, and then it's like, how the heck did I do that? And you maybe did a bunch of reading and read a bunch of Sierra Chart articles, and they're hard to remember. So having these videos up can be useful. So anyway, hope you guys have, let's see, a good rest of the weekend, and again, hope you enjoy it. And if you have any questions, come to my Discord and ask them there. We have a boatload of very, very proficient Sierra Chart users on the Discord. People who know much more about Sierra Chart than I do. So go into the Sierra Chart channel in the Discord and kindly ask some questions. Again, everything's free. So if you're going to ask, do it like you would do in real life, face to face. Don't be an asshole about it, right? Ask nicely, be polite, because the only thing that is going to motivate someone to help you is you actually being nice about it, just like in real life, because nothing's paid for. No one's benefiting by helping you. They're taking time out of their lives. So be nice about it. Anyway, cheers. Happy trading.